What happens when the most dominant wrestling promotion in the world starts hearing crickets instead of cheers? Well, grab your popcorn because WWE might be learning that lesson the hard way, and Vince Russo is here to say, "I told you so," with the biggest smirk on his face. So here's the tea. WWE rolled into the Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona, this week for SmackDown, and let's just take a moment to appreciate that arena name because honestly, it's the most entertaining thing about this story. They brought out the big guns, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Tiffany Stratton, Solo Sikoa, the whole squad. This was supposed to be a massive show building towards Saturday night's main event, which by the way sounds like it's still living in 1985 but we'll let that slide. You'd think with that kind of star power and that kind of buildup, fans would be breaking down the doors to get in, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Enter Vince Russo, the man who never met a wrestling opinion he didn't want to share, and honestly we respect the hustle. During a recent episode of Sportskeeda's Bro Down, Russo dropped a truth bomb that's been hiding in plain sight. He pointed out something fascinating. Michael Cole and the announce team weren't screaming about sold-out crowds anymore. Remember when Cole would kick off every show like he was announcing the second coming, telling everyone the arena was packed to the rafters with screaming fans? Yeah, those days are gone faster than CM Punk's first WWE run. Now here's where it gets spicy. Russo isn't just pointing out empty seats for fun. He's connecting the dots between bad booking and bad business, and honestly, it's like watching someone finally say the emperor has no clothes. According to the veteran writer, the bad product has finally caught up with WWE. It's like eating terrible food at a restaurant. Sure, you might go back once or twice because of the name recognition, but eventually, you're gonna find a better spot that actually cares about quality. Think about it like this. WWE has been coasting on brand recognition like that one person in your friend group who peaked in high school but still thinks they're the coolest person in the room. They've had the monopoly, the Saudi money, the Netflix deal, all the resources in the world. But here's the thing about having all the money and all the power, it can make you lazy. And lazy booking leads to lazy storytelling, which leads to fans who'd rather stay home and watch old matches on YouTube than drop money on tickets to see the same predictable nonsense week after week. Russo threw down the gauntlet and said this was predicted ages ago. Bad quality programming would eventually lead to the company's downfall. Now, let's pump the brakes on the word downfall because WWE isn't exactly filing for bankruptcy tomorrow. They're still the biggest wrestling company on the planet, still making money hand over fist, still getting mainstream attention. But here's the reality check. Slightly lower attendance and viewership might seem like small potatoes now, but it's how every decline starts. You don't go from selling out Madison Square Garden to performing in front of 12 people and a hot dog vendor overnight. It's a slow burn, and those empty seats in Tempe might just be the smoke before the fire. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Triple H took over creative control, and everyone lost their minds with excitement. Finally, the cerebral assassin would save us from years of questionable decisions. And to be fair, there was a honeymoon period. The product improved, storylines made sense, wrestlers were being used properly. It felt like WWE remembered how to book wrestling again. But here we are, experiencing what Russo calls a slight downturn after those highs. It's like going to an amazing restaurant on opening night, then coming back 6 months later and realizing the chef stopped caring. The real question is why? Why is WWE, with all its talent and resources, struggling to consistently fill arenas for weekly shows? Is it because fans are tired of seeing the same matches over and over? Is it because storylines drag on longer than a Lord of the Rings extended edition marathon? Is it because ticket prices are higher than Riddle on a good day? Probably a combination of all three, sprinkled with a healthy dose of, we've seen this before and we're not impressed anymore. Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody in Stamford wants to hear. Having Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and all the top stars on a show doesn't automatically equal sold-out crowds anymore. Fans have gotten smarter. They know when they're being given a throwaway episode versus a must-see event. They know when storylines are actually building to something meaningful versus just killing time until the next pay-per-view. And increasingly, they're choosing to save their money and their time for when it actually matters. The timing of all this is particularly interesting because we're heading into the most important stretch of the WWE calendar. Survivor Series War Games is coming, followed by Royal Rumble, and then the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. These are the shows that WWE absolutely cannot afford to fumble. These are the moments where the company traditionally prints money and creates those iconic memories that keep fans coming back. But if they can't fill arenas for weekly shows that are supposed to be building toward these massive events, what does that say about fan investment in the product? It's like being in a relationship where your partner only makes an effort on your birthday and anniversary but phones it in the rest of the year. Eventually, those special occasions start feeling less special because you know they're just going through the motions until they can go back to not caring. WWE seems to be stuck in that pattern. Turn it on for the big 4 pay-per-views, mail it in for the weekly programming, rinse and repeat. But here's where WWE could turn this around, and it's not rocket science. Start treating every show like it matters. Give fans a reason to believe that if they show up to a random SmackDown in Tempe, they might see something that actually advances the story or creates a memorable moment. Stop with the endless rematches and 50-50 booking that makes everyone look like they're spinning their wheels. Tell stories that have clear beginnings, middles, and ends. Respect the audience's intelligence and their wallets. The wrestling business has always been about creating demand, making fans feel like they absolutely cannot miss what happens next. When WWE was selling out arenas every week, it wasn't because they had more talent or bigger budgets. It was because they made fans believe that anything could happen on any given night. Now, fans know exactly what's going to happen before they even turn on the show, and that's a creativity problem, not a talent problem. Vince Russo might be controversial, and his own track record isn't exactly spotless, but calling out empty seats and connecting them to booking quality isn't exactly revolutionary. It's common sense wrapped in wrestling insider speak. The product matters. The stories matter. And when you stop caring about those things because you think your brand name alone will sell tickets, you end up with empty seats in the Mullet Arena, which honestly sounds like a metaphor for WWE's current creative direction. So what's the play here? Does WWE double down on the same approach and hope the big events carry them through? Do they actually listen to fan feedback and make meaningful changes?